It's Country 105.1 WILQ, Blake Shelton and Minimum Wage. Well, if somebody would have told me this morning, Ted, you're going to be talking to BEANE, I wouldn't have believed him. But lo and behold, American Idol, they're in their 19th season, and it's underway. American Idol has a significant meaning for one of our very own here in the Susquehanna Valley, Montoursville's Brennan Hepler. He's going to be or has performed in the Audition. We're going to find out about that. But due to the secrecy of American Idol, Brennan, we want to concentrate on your young life and steps leading up to this wonderful moment and monumental opportunity in your life. First of all, good afternoon, Brennan. How are you doing?
Hey there. Hey there. I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. It really means the world.
Sure.
Time.
Yeah. Let's go back in time because I know that I'm looking out the window right now and I can see the Loyalsock High School where you went to high school at. But as a child, you began your musical inspiration right around 5. Musical instruments, did they come easy for you?
I think that I would like to think that they came easy for me. I think you probably have to ask, the Leideckers or some of my music teachers how easily they actually came. In my memory, I was okay at them, but they, I'm sure, have a different opinion.
They have a lot of patience. Listen, you started out with the trombone. Is that true?
Yes, sir, I did. Yes, sir, I did.
Now, how many instruments do you perform with now?
Now I'll play with guitar and piano, and that's I don't really pick up my trombone anymore, sadly.
Okay, well, yes, the folks in the trombone world are probably very disappointed that you put that away. Now listen, I want to go back in time, and you and I were talking a little bit about the Uptown Music Collective and what a blessing they are in our community.
Absolutely. They I appreciate you bringing that up because it is my goal to get them mentioned at some point, somewhere. So here we can start, and I owe so much of who I am today to the time that I spent at Uptown and the time that I spent with Dave. So Dave Brumbaugh.
Yes, he's a wonderful guy. He really is. He's a tremendous individual, very humble man.
He is, absolutely. And if it wasn't for him, I think that my life would look very different right now. So,
well, listen, let's go back in time. Let's look at you when you're 13 years old, and here you are. You're at the Community Arts Center, Killer Queen, 2012. What were your thoughts as that whole thing unraveled in front of you?
Oh, man. So I had some wonderful friends in that show. Off the top of my head, I'm thinking about Naria Hunter and Tess Marshall and Dylan Rockoff, Gianna Rockoff. They were all in that Killer Queen show that a lot of people in our community remember. And I remember sitting there and being like, man, I have got to get into this. There is just nothing of this type of quality anywhere around here. And, the older I've got, the more I've realized that there's nothing of that type of quality really anywhere. And so Dave I was lucky enough, I've always been quite outspoken. I've never had a hard time getting my foot in the door if I feel like I need to. And
yeah.
So Dave gave me a chance, and he put me in the next show, I think it was, which was was a tribute to women in rock.
Mm-hmm.
I actually emceed that show and played my trombone in that show, and then the next show he let me sing, and I came out, I think it was a Meals on Wheels show, and I came out just a skinny little guy, and I...
How were you scared to be in front of the bright lights at that point?
I wasn't. That's one thing that I consider myself blessed is that I've never felt super scared of the performing aspect. That part has always felt good. I think I was more scared of letting someone down, like Dave, or I sang a Soundgarden song and a Pearl Jam song. Those were the two I did for the first time I did.
Blow Up the World.
Blow Up the Outside World.
Yeah.
I was just ripped my throat out for that song.
Well, listen, so after the show anyway, with the Killer Queen thing, you went back and you had a conversation with your parents. It seems like that part of your life really changed who you are and who you're going to be.
Yeah, for sure, without a doubt. I told them I got to get in there. And, I think at the time, something like the Collective, it can be expensive, but they definitely do things to help you get a foot in the door there. And I was blessed that I got a scholarship and had my time at the Collective paid for. And I know a lot of people who have had assistance with that. So, you know, you don't need to give up your dreams, if you will, because you're held back by that type of restriction, you know. But
Sure.
my parents were. I'll give a little shout out, Bobby and Chris Hepler. They were always very supportive. My dad is a very classic Central PA man.
I like
I
that.
can't tell you how good, you know, I can't tell you how good it feels to walk off stage and see him cry. I can kind of make fun of him a little bit for it. So that always felt good.
The sensitive side. That's a good thing. Hey, now listen. So at Loyalsock High School, you were involved with music. Any teachers there that inspired you as far as your education and moving on to Berklee? I want to get there next.
Yeah, at Loyalsock. So I had Mr. Savaliksic and Bob Barrett. Lee Savaliksic and Bob Barrett, I think that they're both gone now, not permanently gone, but going and doing other
Right, and yes. They hear the beat of the different drummer.
Right. And, you know, it's when you go to a school like Loyalsock where it's so small, it's very easy to give anybody the type of attention that they would need to kind of nourish any type of creative spirit, you know. And so I was lucky that I had people, adults in my corner. And even to expand on Loyalsock, there was Jackie Engel in the community.
Yes.
And Rob, his last name is failing me right now, from the CAC. But there are always adults in Williamsport who are very in tune to what the world outside of Williamsport could look like, and really, really help people get an idea of where they want to go. You know, I think maybe another way to say it better is that they kind of nurture that spark.
Yes.
Really help to lay a solid foundation if you know, music is something that you want to do.
Well, you start with Dave Brumbaugh, who basically planted the seed, and then the school helped develop it, and then that changed where you wanted to go and what you wanted to do as you went off to the big town of Boston and Berklee College of Music. That really transformed you as well, didn't it?
Oh, it really did. You know, Dave is also an alumni of Berklee, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
And so he, you know, the option was always there, and he always really supported me and saw something in me that maybe I didn't even see in myself at the time. And so I went to Berklee, and as kind of a consolation. There we go.
Yes.
Kind of a consolation prize to my parents. I majored in music business management. I thought it might look a little better on paper than, you know.
But that wasn't your passion. That isn't where your heart is, was it? You wanted to be on the stage.
Absolutely. But, you know, the older you get and the more you make this a part of your career, you realize that the business side of it is really about 75% of how you spend your time as a musician. And so it's a good thing that I took that route. It's really helped me a lot in my own artistry.
Well, not only did you get a great education, but you got a handle, you got a nickname that's probably going to last with you for a lifetime, the nickname BEANE. Share that with us. How did that name come from?
Oh, man, let me I wish that I could point to a specific story, but it kind of just happened organically, and it's a beautiful coincidence that I can kind of call myself Bean from Beantown, you know.
Yeah.
As in terms of I don't know. It's not like the coolest name, I can tell you that. I mean, I have friends that'll scream across the street, "Hey, Bean," and you know, you hear that and you're like, "Wow, he sounds like a dork. Who is?"
Yeah. So your music at Berklee, your education, and you grew as a person as well. So you were completely developed mentally, spiritually, physically by the time you left Berklee, your goal and your aspirations now. So we go to the American Idol, and this is where I'm going to walk with gilded footsteps here as we get around this. But so American Idol, did you think that was going to be happening to you, or how did that happen?
No, you know, I had kind of done the reality show circuit, if you will.
Yeah.
And had many failed attempts at other shows. And I had kind of resolved to not go down that route anymore.
Yes.
And then, you know, the pandemic hit, and all of our plans kind of went up in the air. And after a few months of realizing that, you know, I lost my serving job, I lost all my wedding gigs, I lost my gigs as Bean, which I had quite a few booked, and And so her name was Ariel, reached out on Instagram. Actually, she found me and said, "Hey, do you want to audition for American Idol?" And up until that point, that was the first thing that I had to do in like 5 or 6 months at that point. And so it was more so what else are you going to do? Are you just going to continue to wake up and make eggs and watch TV all day, or are you going to actually try to do something that can provide you with some forward momentum? And I can say I'm really, really blessed to have had a moment of feeling like I'm taking a step forward during a time when all of us kind of feel stuck in where we are.
Sure. And another thing too, Brennan, that people are feeling is that you're an inspiration. Times have been negative as far as being restricted on what we can and cannot do, but to see wonderful stories like yours erupt and come to the front and center really inspires a lot of people. People want to know what it's like. What was it like for you to be on the stage with the judges? And did you get the golden ticket and all these questions that they have? I don't know how far you could go to answer some of those things, but could you tell us what you performed?
I am not allowed to share what I performed during my audition.
Okay.
I'll tell you for some of the rounds leading up to the audition, because they have to, especially during COVID, they were really made sure that they brought people out to LA that they saw getting through,
Yes.
saw having a chance at least. So everybody that they came out, there were far less, theatrics, I think, because of the nature of the world right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so for those auditions, I sang original songs. One of my songs called "The Way It Goes." I also sang some Harry Styles stuff and some Kalani stuff. So I really kind of pop-centered to get my foot in the door there. And I also just want to speak on, I might have his name wrong. I think it was Aaron Kelly, but
yes, Aaron Kelly, exactly. He finished. He was involved with that several years ago from the area. Have you ever met him?
I haven't met Aaron, but I do remember when he went through that process, and I remember how much buzz there was. Even in Loyalstock, and we were probably 45 minutes away from where he lived. And,
sure.
So I remember how uplifting and how awesome that was for everyone to go through when the world was normal.
Mm-hmm.
It has made me emotional since to think about the fact that now at a time when everything is so uncertain that we all kind of have something to kind of latch onto and rally behind. It's very exciting and really means the world to me to be that person for our community right now.
Wonderful, yeah. Hey, another thing too, somebody asked me to ask you is, do you have a favorite judge? And if you do so, why? Are we going off the deep end on this one or not, BEANE?
Oh, what a question that is. Let me tell you. I would, let me, if I may, can I say one thing I like about each?
Yes, that's great.
Let's do that. Let's
okay.
Let's keep me in the green here. Luke has a sense of humor that is very, very similar to the people that we grew up with. He really has that small town charm that I really resonated with.
Yes.
Katie also came from a small town, I believe, in the South, and she also has that same kind of warmth about her. She is also a new mother, so it was brilliant to see her with that glow and just like living her best life. That was awesome. And then Lionel, who I will say I have a soft spot for Lionel. He made me feel so comfortable just when I saw his face and his smile. And you realize coming out of the audition, people are famous because they have an energy and a warmth around them that a lot of people want to have in their life,
Sure.
That's why and so you get in there and you're like, there's this kind of perception of Hollywood that it's this kind of nose in the air attitude, but then you meet some of these people and you're like, no, actually they're famous because they're so likable by so many people. And so that was really my big takeaway from that.
That's fantastic. You should consider politics after that. That was a great answer. Hey, listen, let me ask you this question, and we've got to wrap this up, but I wanted to ask you how you feel about performing your own music that you've written, music that you've composed, and share that with the audience and with the judges. How does that make you feel? Do you feel like you're exposing yourself, or do you feel confident in your abilities?
A lot of it could feel like overexposure, but I think that I feel so connected to the music that I write and confident in it and confident in my ability to deliver it at least.
Mm-hmm.
It's never something that really shakes me. I don't consider myself to be some type of virtuistic songwriter, but I know that I can deliver a story. And so I think as long as I connect to what I'm singing, the other people will as well. So that keeps me afloat.
Fantastic. Listen, hopefully you'll keep us in the loop as you move forward. Report into us from time to time and let us know how you're doing. And because I know there's a lot of folks that are. We talked about Aaron Kelly and that buzz. Well, the buzz is there for you now, and it's probably going to get bigger as the show begins. Now, Sunday, folks want to know when you're going to perform, and I guess you're not allowed to tell us that either. What segment or what show that'll be?
I don't think I'll be on. I know that there's a few more weeks of audition.
Okay.
Keep tuning in. There's a good chance you'll see me.
Great. Well, we're so glad that you took time to come and join us today. And when you're in the area, make sure you stop by, and we'll be able to meet in person and get a chance to talk. So thank you so much for your time. We're all behind you. We support you. And it's always great when somebody local really has the passion and meets the right people in their lives at the right time in order to be successful. And you were fortunate here in our area in Susquehanna Valley that you had not only Dave Brumbaugh, as you mentioned, with the Uptown Music Collective, but you had your parents, you had the support of the teachers at Loyalsock High School, and all that led to your career and where you are now. So that's a good thing.
Absolutely. I appreciate you so much, Ted. Thank you for having me on.
All right, Brennan, we'll be talking to you soon. Take care, Bean.
Yes, sir. See you.